Narrated by Ash-Shabi, Abu Juhayfa said, I asked Ali, have you got any book which has been revealed to the Prophet apart from the Quran? Ali replied, no, except Allah's book or the power of understanding which has been bestowed by Allah upon a Muslim or what is written in this sheet of paper with me. Abu Juhayfa said, I asked, what is written in this sheet of paper? Ali replied, it deals with the diya, compensation, blood money, paid by the killer to the relatives of the victim, the ransom for the releasing of the captives from the hands of the enemies, and the law that no Muslim should be killed in qisas, equality in punishment, for the killing of a disbeliever.
Narrated by Abu Huraira. In the year of the conquest of Mecca, the tribe of Khuzā killed a man from the tribe of Bani Layth in revenge for a killed person belonging to them. They informed the Prophet about it. So he rode his rahila, she-camel for riding, and addressed the people saying, Allah held back the killing from Mecca. The sub-narrator is in doubt whether the Prophet said elephant or killing, as the Arabic words standing for these words have great similarity in shape. But he, Allah, let his apostle and the believers overpower the infidels of Mecca. Beware, Mecca is a sanctuary. Verily. Fighting in Mecca was not permitted for anyone before me, nor will it be permitted for anyone after me. War, in it, was made legal for me for few hours or so on that day. No doubt it is at this moment a sanctuary. It is not allowed to uproot its thorny shrubs, or to uproot its trees, or to pick up its lukat, fallen things, except by a person who will look for its owner, announce it publicly. And if somebody is killed, then his closest relative has the right to choose one of the two, the blood money, diya, or retaliation having the killer killed. In the meantime, a man from Yemen came and said, O Allah's apostle, get that written for me. The Prophet ordered his companions to write that for him. Then a man from Quraysh said, accept al-ihkir, a type of grass that has good smell, O Allah's apostle, as we use it in our houses and graves. The Prophet said, accept al-idkiri. Al-idkir is allowed to be plucked. Narrated by Abu Huraira. There is none among the companions of the Prophet who has narrated more hadiths than I except Abdallah bin Amr bin al-As, who used to write them, and I never did the same. Narrated by Ubaidullah bin Abdullah. Ibn Abbas said, when the ailment of the Prophet became worse, he said, bring for me writing paper, and I will write for you a statement after which you will not go astray. But Umar said, the Prophet is seriously ill, and we have got Allah's book with us, and that is sufficient for us. But the companions of the Prophet differed about this, and there was a hue and cry. On that the Prophet said to them, go away and leave me alone. It is not right that you should quarrel in front of me. Ibn Abbas came out saying, it was most unfortunate, a great disaster, that Allah's apostle was prevented from writing that statement for them because of their disagreement and noise. Note, it is apparent from this hadith that Ibn Abbas had witnessed the event and came out saying this statement. The truth is not so, for Ibn Abbas used to say this statement on narrating the hadith, and he had not witnessed the event personally. Narrated by Salama. One night, Allah's apostle got up and said, Subhan Allah, how many afflictions have been descended tonight, and how many treasures have been disclosed. Go and wake the sleeping lady occupants of these dwellings, his wives, up for prayers. A well-dressed soul in this world may be naked in the hereafter. Narrated by Abdullah bin Umar. Once the Prophet led us in the Isha's prayer during the last days of his life, and after finishing it, the prayer, with Taslim, he said, do you realize the importance of this night? Nobody present on the surface of the earth tonight will be living after the completion of 100 years from this night. Narrated by Ibn Abbas. I stayed overnight in the house of my aunt Maimuna bint al-Harith, the wife of the Prophet, while the Prophet was there with her during her night turn. The Prophet offered the Isha's prayer in the mosque, returned home, and after having prayed 4 rakat, he slept. Later on, he got up at night and then asked whether the boy, or he used a similar word, had slept. Then he got up for the prayer, and I stood up by his left side, but he made me stand to his right and offered 5 rakat, followed by 2 more rakat. Then he slept, and I heard him snoring. And then, after a while, he left for the Fajr prayer. Narrated by Abu Huraira. People say that I have narrated many hadiths, the Prophet's narrations. Had it not been for 2 verses in the Quran, I would not have narrated a single hadith, and the verses are, "Verily those who conceal the clear sign and the guidance which we have sent down," up to, "Most merciful." 2, 159, 160. And no doubt our muhajir, emigrant brothers, used to be busy in the market with their business, bargains, and our Ansari brothers used to be busy with their property, agriculture. But I, Abu Huraira, used to stick to Allah's apostle, contented with what will fill my stomach, and I used to attend that which they used not to attend, and I used to memorize that which they used not to memorize. Narrated by Abu Huraira. I said to Allah's apostle, I hear many narrations, hadiths from you, but I forget them. Allah's apostle said, spread your reader, garment. I did accordingly, and then he moved his hands as if filling them with something, and emptied them in my reader, and then said, take and wrap this sheet over your body. I did it, and after that I never forgot anything. Narrated by Abu Huraira. I have memorized 2 kinds of knowledge from Allah's apostle. I have propagated one of them to you, and if I propagated the second, then my pharynx, throat, would be cut. That is killed. Narrated by Jarir. The Prophet said to me during Hajjat al-Wida, let the people keep quiet and listen. Then he said, addressing the people, do not become infidels, revert to disbelief after me by striking the necks, cutting the throats of one another, killing each other.